Mocha here with another episode of Critical Reactions. Oh, yeah. Alright. Now that that's out of my system, sorry for the weird opening there, but I gotta do my weird openings sometimes. Alright, so yeah. Today's Patreon picks comes from Taylor Acott. He's asking me to check out a Swedish progressive rock band called All Traps on Earth. They're made up of musicians from an older group called Anglagard. I hope I said that one right. So yeah, pretty interested about this one. So yeah, let's see what. Oh dang, punching the microphone over here. All right, so let's see what this band's all about here. Let's go. Oh, that bass is rumbling. Yeah, very eerie, haunting, but beautiful. Just great use of dynamics, especially with their swells. Swells aren't something you hear too often in like metal music, so it's really cool to see that being incorporated here. Even though so far we haven't really done anything metally. And bells, I love bells. Alright, just more bands need to use bells. Yeah. I'm fairly certain that's a tuba. I don't think we've heard a tuba in a metal band yet, so I'm excited. Turn 7/8? That's a cool time signature. Ooh. Oh, this is funky. Very weird phrasing going on there. A lot of playing around with time signatures or just using really long, odd ones like 9/8 stuff. Lots of beats in each bar. Let's just jazz it up. Let's get some swing in here. Why not? That cymbal work is real nasty. Bass is getting a little bit of time to show off his bass line. And it is this whole section is just real groovy. This drum line is just wild though. I really love how the drummer is treating his kit as an instrument and not a metronome. There's a lot of really cool melodic ideas going on. See, right now he's kind of chilled back into that metronome line, just because I think this is like a build-up section. But that last section is just laying down some real nice lines. Trumpet solo, yeah. I'm getting some Dream Theater vibes here. I think it's mainly due to that synthesizer tone. Kind of has that organ feel to it. I think I associate that with Dream Theater because I use that all the time. Yeah, these guys make excellent use of dynamics in time, in volume, everything. All right. Oh yeah, those offbeat accents. Yeah. Got a little bit of like a light jazz feel going on here. Not so much swing, just like background jazz, like smooth jazz. Something you'd hear at a bar, but like with this weird distorted guitar edge to it, like something David Lynch would put into a bar, like a jazz bar scene. It's just wild stuff right here. Just like they'll do. I have the feeling that they're not incapable of doing anything or adding anything to this song. It could literally become anything at any point in time. And that is terrifying and fascinating. I like how a lot of the melodic lines get like an off-kilter feeling to them just because they hold out the wrong note and it ends up making the bar like a beat longer than it should be. If it was written in a more traditional like 4/4 style. And that's where a lot of like the unsettling comes from, is in the way that they phrase their musical lines. And the way that the musical lines it feels like they're forcing time to bend. Like an industrial feel. It's kind of weird though, no matter how heavy and distorted they get, they have like this nice bounce to it. I think it's just because of those bells. They're so clean. But yeah, like it never gets too heavy. I almost thought that could have been the ending, but it's not exactly resolving the way for an ending to be. It keeps leaving like this unfinished feeling. There's definitely more that this song wants to tell. A lot more. And there's a very serene, kind of complacent beauty here that we weren't really seeing with the rest of the track. Everything else was kind of eerie, off-kilter, unsettling, and this part is very calming, very serene. Like everything's okay after what just happened. And then just out of nowhere. Very interesting lead-in though. They used this line during the last section to introduce it. And now we're back to the chaos. They really like to play with expectations too. Like we had just come out of that serene moment to a little bit more of the chaos, and I was like, okay, we're gonna deal with this for a little bit, and no, we're right back to something more atmospheric. All right, that was cool. They basically used a pickup note on beat one instead, and it kind of made the entire melodic line push towards the upbeat. Is there more? That's it. All right. So yeah, that's an interesting way to end that. I don't know if you're listening to that on like tiny speakers or something, you probably wouldn't hear those last three notes. They were very low frequency, and yeah, it was like you get a little bit of a swell, and then it backs off, and then there's like two beats of silence, and then it comes back, but it doesn't swell as loud, and then it comes back down, and then the third time it happens again, and the swell goes to even lower decibel, and it comes back down, and yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. That's a track, man. The cool thing is that I definitely saw a story while listening to it. I'm sure it's going to be different for everybody. Everybody's going to kind of perceive the song in different ways. They're going to just interpret it differently, and I think that's really cool. That's a strong aspect of art. That is a lot of things that what art does is it evokes different emotions and ideas and concepts in everybody who sees it, and all the viewers, all the listeners. And I think this is one of those pieces of art where everybody's going to look at it differently and take something different away from it, and that's just really important and cool. Like, I love how art can do that. But I also think it's very important for art to be different things to different people. Just because everybody needs different things, and I think it's very cool when art can deliver multiple things to different people. Whatever they need in that situation, they can get it. And so yeah, so this song does a lot of really cool things with instrumentation, theme, harmony, melody, layering. Uh, did I say atmosphere? Atmosphere, if I didn't say it. Yeah, just like it does a little bit of everything. And I said this before. I don't remember what other band I said this about. It might have been, oh, you know what? It was Diablo Swing Orchestra. Um, this was pitched to me as a progressive rock band, but as far as I see it, it's not a rock band. I was gonna say, it's an orchestra with rock elements, but they also do a lot of swing stuff. So we're just gonna say it's a traditional band. I don't really like that either. Um, dang. All right, so let's just go with this. Uh, it's a no genre band. It has instrumentation and compositional techniques from multiple styles of music. But I'd say that the core aspect, at least to me in this song, is the orchestral arrangement. There were a couple of jazzier aspects to it, but they were, to me, they were, singularities. They were not, they were the fringe movements, where most of the song took place within standard classical music arrangement. And the same goes for the rock areas. There were a couple of parts that were heavier. There was use of distorted guitars. And we did use what I'm going to assume was a drum kit rather than a percussion section. But again, they were used sparingly, and the ideas compositionally that were taken or inspired from rock and metal music were also used sparingly. When you take a look at the entire song, basically, if you put it into a pie chart, classical instrumentation and classical composition techniques dominate the pie chart. There are other influences like rock and jazz, but they're definitely not what I would say are the key components to this song, at least. Um, and another cool thing that I think there's a parallel here with the Diablo Swing Orchestra is that this is another song that. Oh, actually, no, not Diablo. I don't remember now. That's going to irritate me. There's another band though that I said that the composition was really outstanding, and if it was transposed to a classical situation, that it would be praised in the classical community for its composition. I don't remember what song that was though, or what band. That's kind of irritating me. This one though, I definitely think this is another song that even though the band is technically labeled as a rock band, and I'm sure the song is probably labeled as rock music, this is another song that I think would be very interesting to people who primarily listen to classical music, and classical people. We got metalheads, and then we got classical people. Like, I guess they don't have a cool label. Dang. But yeah, so there's a lot of really good composition in here that I think even people who are a little bit more snobbier about music would appreciate. Um, and there's just so many little, like there at the end. Um, I had a little smirk because they basically played a pickup note into a musical phrase. And a pickup note is basically a note that comes before the bar that starts your musical phrase. So basically, instead of starting on beat one with what they're going to play, they started on beat one with an eighth note, and then on the upbeat of beat one is when they started their musical phrase, and it made the entire phrase feel like shunted. It was pushed out of time. The key points that you would really emphasize typically are on downbeats, with maybe some emphasis on the upbeats of three and four for a little bit of syncopation. That's kind of a very standard way to write a melody, to make sure that your key points that you want to drive home are going to be on downbeats. Um, and the way that this happened was the eighth note shoved everything into the upbeat, so all your accents run upbeats. It'd be like if you spoke, but all of the syllables that your language typically uh, associates as the dominant syllable was flipped. So instead of like dominant, the dom, the first part is your emphasized one. But if I started saying dominant and I did that for every word that I said, it would be like jarring. It'd be like the weirdest thing. I can't even. I would have to talk so slowly to do it. um, and that's what happened here. Basically, I'm listening to this musical sentence, and the guy's just saying it weird, like so weird. And I understand how it's weird. I understand why it sounds unusual. I understand how it sounded unusual. Like he started it on the wrong part of the beat. Uh, but it was just so cool for the like three or four of the instruments to all do that, and just kind of make this unusual cadence. Just puts a smirk on my face. Like it's unusual. It's unexpected, and but it plays in so well. It's not like it was completely jarring. A lot of the music went along with it, and it fit in the moment. But I mean, it's also just like if you're really listening and that pops up, you're like, wow, what just happened? So yeah, that's one of those little unexpected flares that always get me to get a little smirk out of me. I'm like, yeah, I dig that. That was smart. I see what you're doing here. Whatever this band is called, All Traps on Earth. Yeah, I see what you're doing, All Traps on Earth. You got some little smartness in you. Um, but yeah, just like it's little things like that these guys are just playing around with everywhere. Um, just like how long should we stay in this section? Well, we just did a lot of heavy stuff, and then we moved on to a little serene bit. We were there for a while. Let's go back to the heavy stuff. Oh, it's been 4 bars. I'm tired of this. Let's back it down and go atmospheric again. Like, every time you think you got these guys pegged, they're like, we're going to switch the script. We're going to do something new. And it's novelty. This is a song of novelty. But it's done in a way that doesn't seem novel. Like, even after you end up listening to it a dozen times or whatever, and all of the unusual aspects, the parts that are like the surprises, after you know where all the surprises are, and they're not surprises anymore, it's just how the song sounds, the song itself is still composed really well. And to me, it still tells a story. The beginning has like an awkward uh, carnival funhouse, but like a little creepiness to it. And then like we have the serene moments, and then we have growing tension and like this enemy or looming presence, and then like the chill but also dark edge that we kind of went out on. And I mean, to me, I had this whole like 20-minute video play out in my mind while I'm listening to this about like a metaphorical, villain in a eerie carnival, and like this kid's running away from him, and then she thinks she's safe. So then she's like, okay, a little bit of serenity, but then it like switches back, and they meet up, and then there's a chase scene. But then they actually meet and talk, and it's like, oh, maybe you're not so bad. And then there's like this, there is no good guys, bad guys. There's no black and white, evil and good in the world, and we're all a little bit evil, all a little bit good. We're more than just our actions, kind of stuff going on. That's the story I got out of this song, which is wild. Like I saw a whole movie. um, so yeah, really cool stuff everywhere in this track. analyzing it down to the nitty gritty. They do really cool stuff in the composition. They have a wide variety of instrumentation. They know when to use it, when not to use it. I don't know how many people are in the band. I don't know how viable this is for the band itself to play live. I mean, I guess you can sample a lot of it and then just, if it is just a regular rock band, have the guitar and drums do their thing and maybe have the singer. Because there was only one singer, I think. The operatic soprano. You know what? There were a couple of layered ones. I don't know. There might have been a few singers, um, but they were all also like vowels, like oh, like not singing words, just singing sounds. And I mean, you could sample that pretty easily too. Um, yeah, I don't know how many people are in the band. I don't know if it's like 10 people running between instruments and they're just multi instrument players, which would be really cool. Because, like, I play a few instruments. I had strings and keys and brass, and I've tried woodwinds, and I can't. I don't. Woodwind is voodoo to me. Like, I've tried so many times to play my sister's tenor sax. Not going to happen. Back in high school and college, buddies playing clarinet or whatever. I'm like, hey, let me give that a shot. I buy myself a reed and I try it. I'm like, I just get air. I don't know how it works. All right, reeded instruments make no sense to me. Flute, I can do a flute though. No reeds. Reeds are garbage. I don't know. That's magic I don't possess. So like playing multiple instruments isn't totally arcane to me, but if there's like 10 people who can get all this together and can just play like all these different types of instruments at this pretty high level, because I think that's the part that impresses me the most is that none of this is exceptionally simple. There are parts that are easier to play than others. That's just good composition. You can't let every instrument shine all the time. But every instrument has a section where they get to show off a little bit of speed or virtuosity. Yeah, that's a cool word. Virtuosity. I like that. Um, so every instrument, assuming that each player is kind of designated an instrument as long as they're not playing another one, I don't know. I mean, just there's a lot of parts. I don't know. Right now, I'm all speculating. No, I don't even know how many people are in the band. For all I know, there's one instrument to everybody, and you play with an orchestra, or it's all sampled. So I don't know. Let's get back to the music because I'm losing my train of thought here. Um, but yeah, so like the composition is phenomenal. The musicianship is phenomenal. The fact that the story works both on a novelty level and on a purely musical level. Um, I mean, this is just a really good track. And I don't know if there's anything else I can say about it. It's just good stuff. I guess my only critique would be that it is fairly inaccessible. And that's not always, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You're going to have art that's done at the highest level that is going to be inaccessible. Even paintings. Some of our best paintings, most people don't get. And that's fine. It's not art done for a mainstream audience. It's art done for the musicians or art done for your art snobs. And I feel like that's kind of where this one leans further into the art snob line. Like it is a little bit chaotic. It is very man, I don't even know how to word this. It requires attention, but it requires a type of attention that the mainstream people aren't taught to give to music. I think it goes even a little bit further than metal music, which also doesn't have a mainstream appeal, but this one in a different angle, just because its inaccessibility comes from obtuse writing. And it's very art house avant garde kind of stuff, which I love. I enjoy, but I definitely understand it is not for everybody. Um, But so like that's my criticism for it is that it is what it is, which isn't very strong criticism. Like I don't know. I love the song, every bit of it. I don't really think there's anything wrong with it other than the fact that unfortunately a vast amount of people won't experience it in a way that's positive. And I think that's a shame, but that's not anything against the art. That's against our art education in the world. So, I don't know. I guess that's a topic for another time because this is a reaction video. So, yeah, this is where you guys come in, though. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought. This was 20 minutes of bliss for me, but like I said, I understand it is not for everybody. You guys can let me know what you thought. And if you've heard of the band before, or maybe that other band, let's see, Angligard. Yep, I'm interested in them as well. Yeah, if you guys have any recommendations for this band or Angligard, let me know because, like I said, I'm interested in what else they can do. While you're down there in the comments, you can like, subscribe, and ring the bell. All three of those things help me out immensely. If you'd like, you can also check out my Twitter or my Patreon. Those links are in the description. If you'd like to get in line to do one of these Patreon picks, have your turn to tell me what to check out, the Patreon link is where you need to go for that. And I'll be back tomorrow with a special Sunday episode. A band has asked me to check out a song of theirs. I think they're a new band. It's a new song that just came out. They're trying to promote their album, and I figure why not? You know, let's help spread some music awareness. They are a metal band, instrumental and proggy. So I mean that just fits in with everything that you guys mostly send me. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be real fun, and then Monday starts next theme. So right through, no breaks this week. Uh, yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual. Until then, you guys stay safe out there and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.